Why, hello there, Rip City. Welcome in to Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you today, getting you ready for Blazers versus Kings. And according to Michael Shacker, King Nothing. King Nothing. Good song by Metallica, by the way. Blazers looking to continue off the hot play that they had against the Golden State Warriors for what feels like an eon ago. It feels like it was a long time ago that they took the court, but it was just over the weekend. A couple days off, and now they're back into it tonight, taking on a Sacramento King team that is not very good and will be without a couple key players. No Zach LaVine, no Domantas Sabonis. Those things will play into this, obviously. But, of course, you would hope that the Blazers, it wouldn't matter who's playing, as long as they can play like they did just a few nights ago against the Golden State Warriors. Not only did they play well against Golden State Warriors, my friend, they got their third victory over them of the season, improved to 3-0 against Golden State this year, and things are looking up. If you want to join the conversation with me today, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also hit us up on the brand new Rip City Radio text line. Just text 88528. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what happened against that game, against the Warriors, because it was one of those games, if we're being completely honest, where it just felt like it could break at any moment, that the dam could break and just the Blazers couldn't stop the Golden State Warrior onslaught. Steph Curry was absolutely in fuego. He was hot. He was unstoppable, to say the least. He was going toe-to-toe with anyone who wanted to go toe-to-toe with him, and he was beating them. He was just on fire from beyond the arc. He hit 12 three-pointers in this game, the most three-pointers he's ever hit in a Golden State Warriors loss, mind you, so put that feather in the cap. But it was just every single shot he made, it felt like it was going to be a vintage Steph Curry performance where, okay, that was the one, the straw that broke the camel's back, and now bouncing back is going to be impossible. But that was not the case. Jeremy Grant, Shaedon Sharpe, incredible games. In the third quarter, it was Shaedon Sharpe just answering every single Steph Curry bucket with a bucket of his own. In the fourth quarter, it was Jeremy Grant answering every single Steph Curry bucket with a bucket of his own. And it was nice to see, because I feel like we haven't seen that for some time, where we could trust the offense to answer those runs and to answer those big shots. And then defensively, in the last few minutes, they clamped down and they took care of business against the Golden State Warriors. Again, final score 136-131. Also, a lot played into this. I mean, it paid to have your complement to centers back. You look at the game against New Orleans, they didn't have Donovan Clingan, they didn't have Robert Williams, didn't have Young Hansen, and New Orleans went out and scored 88 points in the paint. That is a lot of points to score just in the paint. There are some games, they're rare nowadays, but where you haven't seen 88 points scored total. And the Pelicans did just in the paint when the Blazers had no defensive bigs. That changed against Golden State, and Portland was able to hold Golden State to just 38 points in the paint. Now, Golden State is a team that likes to get hot from beyond the arc. They did take 47 three-pointers in this one, making 24 of them, but Steph Curry had the lion's share. He was 12 of 19 from the floor. I think at one point he was 12 of 15, just incredible, 63% from beyond the arc. He had 48 points. In fact, the Warriors had good scoring all around. Multiple players, 7 players in double figures. Buddy Hield had 10 points. Brandon Podziemski had 12 points. Jimmy Butler had 16. Quentin Post had 11. Moses Moody had 12. Draymond Green had 14. But the Blazers, again, answered every single big bucket. Jeremy Grant had 35 points in this game. And boy howdy, the fourth quarter, 19 of them in the fourth quarter, and they needed him because Steph Curry scored 21 of his 48 in that fourth quarter. So Jeremy Grant answered every single shot that Steph Curry threw at him, hit big shot after big shot, and that was fun to see. It was fun to see someone look a guy like Steph Curry in the eye and say, okay, let's go to war. I'm going to answer every single shot you have with a shot of my own. At the end of the night, Blazers box score, pretty good. Jeremy Grant, 35 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 7 of 13 from beyond the arc. Toumani Camara had just 7 points. He also had 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Donovan Clingan, he didn't need to score. He had just 3 points, but 10 rebounds, 3 block shots. He did what he needed to do. it's not as if he had a bad night offensively. He was just 1 of 3 from the floor, so they weren't involving him because everyone else was playing so well. Shaden Sharp, 12 of 18 from the floor, 35 points. He was 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. I believe the stat I saw is that the first time in team history that 2 players have scored 35 points or more and each hit 5 or more three-pointers. Shaden Sharp and Jeremy Grant being the pair in this one. Denny Avdia, 6 of 16 from the floor. He had 26 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. He also went to the line 13 times, converting on 12 of those free throws. And then the Blazers bench, Robert Williams had 11 points and 11 rebounds to lead the bench. And it was a great game. It was an absolutely great game. And defensively, they made their stops too. So we're talking about offense, being able to answer everything that Golden State was doing, which was great to see. But at the same time, when they needed defensive stops, they got one. They got a steal off Steph Curry late. They were able to lock him up a little bit, so he missed some of those key three-pointers on a night where he was absolutely hot. So you got to tip your hat to them too. Now, after the game, if you saw the video the Trailblazers posted on social, Tiago Splitter comes into the locker room with a FedEx box, and he opens the box, and there is a Trailblazers box with a lock on it, and they are just calling it the box, as you know. Tumani Kamara does that little defensive thing, the box. You put the defense in a box, and their new trend is, hey, when we win a game like this, the best defender of the night, he gets to put his name in the box. Maybe there'll be a prize for a player at the end of the year who has his name in there the most. And the first player who got to put their name in the box, Sidy Cissoko, who had an absolutely incredible game. Defensively, it was locked in, hit a couple big shots himself. But, again, when they needed him to play good defense, he showed up. We've talked about this a little bit. Like, this guy's gone from the two-way guy who, he's fun, he's energetic, to right now you're going to be battling for rotation minutes as the season goes on. When everyone gets healthy, you still might have to find a way to get Sidy Cissoko in the lineup. That's a beautiful thing. It's a good problem to have. I like the fact that he has answered the bell. Now, in a fully healthy lineup, is he better than Dame? Is he better than Drew? Is he better than Scoot and Shea and Matisse and all that? You know the answer is probably not. But it gives you that person that you can rely upon in situations when things get tough. And not only can you rely on him, what makes him incredible, I mean, he started games at point guard. He's subbed in and played center and small ball lineups. He's playing a lot of time at forward. Like, he's just playing everywhere you need him to play, and he's playing it well. So it was nice to see him get his name in the box because he's been showing out on that side of the ball, been playing well. When you don't have Matisse and you don't have Blake Wesley and you need someone to step up and be a go-to defender, it's nice to have Sidy Cissoko. Now, you're not, like, writing home about how good he is. Like, he's not going to go get votes for first-team all-defense right now. But, again, someone you can just rely upon to go in there and play defense is what matters. That's what you want. All right, this is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And, of course, you can hit us up on the new Rip City Radio text line. Just text 88528. I already said, hey, go to the text line. Enough talking. Nope, it's a radio show. I get paid to talk, my friend. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to head down to the Coach's Corner, hear what Coach Tiago Splitter has to say here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Hey, Chris Burkhardt here with you. Time now for the Coach's Corner. We're just waiting for head coach Tiago Splitter to head to the podium. As soon as he does, Michael Shacker will pod that audio up, and we will hear from the coach, see what the lineup is tonight, see if there's any updates with these darn injuries that this team's playing with. Definitely nice to get 3 days off before you have to play again. That helps get some guys back. And I know you're starting to get a little more positive injury news with the whole, maybe Scoot, maybe Drew, maybe Matisse. So those things are positive, but you get everyone tonight, and it'll be good. Sounds on, so let's head down to the podium.
Didn't interrupt anything.
No, we're not important.
So, since we didn't get to talk to you after practice yesterday, is there anything new on Drew or Tease? Any of those guys?
The only thing actually I can say is they're not playing. Just to address a little bit the Drew. I mean, he's getting there, but he's not ready. And I want him to get 100% and feel good. It's such an important player for us, and I don't want to risk anything. So that's the truth.
So do you have a handle at all or an expectation of when he may be available, or is it just kind of week to week at this point?
Yeah, it's just like how he's feeling. He had a couple workouts, but he's not 100% yet.
What are your thoughts on this Kings team? Obviously, we're talking injuries. They have a lot of guys out tonight as well. Just your thoughts on this Kings team and what you've kind of seen out of them this season?
Well, I think they have a lot of good individual players, right? Like this team is better than what the record says. They had a lot of up and downs for sure, but also have good games against good teams. So it's tricky. You cannot relax. It's not like we are in a situation to relax, but you cannot. It's a talented team, and they have a lot of players there that can score and win the games for them. So you got to be very careful.
You like playing the same team twice in 3 days like this, or would you rather not?
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Honestly. I don't know. I think I didn't have many of those in my career, so it's kind of weird. Kind of like a series in the middle of the season. Not a big fan.
Do you think it's harder to avoid a potential letdown when you're at home versus on the road?
If it's harder to avoid a letdown?
Like the relaxed talk that you were talking about just now.
I don't think that's the case, home or away. I don't think there's anything to do with that. That's my perception. Maybe you have a different one, but yeah, I think in general, after a win, people relax. So that's what I've been talking to my guys during these days. Like, we cannot relax. We gotta, set the tone from the beginning and go for the win.
Doug Christie had said in the preseason that I think he said he came out to Paris to visit you, or at least you guys were in communication. What was he talking to you about?
We have a couple friends in common. Leandro Barbosa is in his staff, so we always actually, before, when I was assistant in Houston or Brooklyn, we always would talk a lot before games and just sit there in the court and talk about life, basketball, and past experience. So a guy that I like to talk to. He's a really good guy, and I wish him the best. And now that he got opportunity to coach, so that's all I can say, to be honest.
You talk about relaxing too. Is that more of a concern too when you've had 3 days off like you have? I mean, you guys have played so much this season too that having that much time off seems like it might.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a weird, week for us. Like when you have those days, it's almost like when we're gonna have a game again, right? I used to play like back-to-backs and 3 and 4 all the time, and now you have those 3 days, which, like I said, after a win, you cannot think now we're in a great spot all of a sudden. I think we are growing, we are getting better, we are taking advantage of that time to rest, to get some practice, and do a little adjustments. So hopefully we can transfer that to the game tonight. Sometimes that's not the case, but I hope we can transfer what we work on those days and get better tonight.
What ended up being the focus on defense yesterday?
Well, this league, you have a lot of like small pick and roll, rebounds, schemes when you double team someone or get better at zone. A lot of little details that you can work on when you have those days. And so, yeah, a little bit of that.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you.
And there you hear from head coach Tiago Splitter, and a little injury update at the beginning of that on Drew Holiday. It was not much there, but definitely reiterated the fact that they're just trying to slow play it. They want to make sure that he gets back as healthy as possible and is ready to go. Just keep in mind that when the initial reports are sent out for what they're going to do with that injury, whether it's he's going to be out for 1 to 2 weeks, or with Scoot Henderson when he was originally out, the 4 to 8 weeks, like that's a return to practice, not a return to the game. And you got to make sure you get through these things, and you don't want to have any injuries that last longer or create more problems down the road, especially with Drew with that calf strain, especially with how that can impact the Achilles. You don't want anything down there to go on awkward. You want to make sure that that muscle is healed properly and absolutely 100% ready to go. And then with Scoot, both the hamstring and the quad are two injuries that you cannot rush back. You really, really need those to heal 100%, because just as is the nature of that leg and the way those muscles are going to want to work, like if you had a bad hamstring, that quad is going to want to take over a lot, and it can only do so much, and you're going to be leaving yourself to having those potential catastrophic quad injuries if that hamstring is not 100% ready to go. Not only that, doing more damage to the hamstring. So slow playing those are absolutely the best play, because I wouldn't want Scoot Henderson or Drew Holiday, for 5 games and then have something happen that puts them out longer because we were just so, eager to have them back in the lineup. You got to make sure that those injuries are handled properly and that the team is confident that the body is 100% healthy and ready to go. And you even saw it with Shaden Sharp to an extent. I mean, he comes in and he's on a minutes restriction. That's why he's not back in the starting lineup, and they're trying to limit his minutes as much as possible to really, truly monitor that calf as he comes back through that injury maintenance program. So, yeah, I understand why they're doing it. I also understand why it can be frustrating. People want to see their guys on the court, and if they're not on the court, you start getting frustrated because you're like, what's the point? We want to see them play basketball. But at the same time, you got to make sure those bodies are healthy. We've seen the rash of injuries, not just with the Blazers, around the NBA. If you're an NFL fan, you've seen just the absolute avalanche of injuries in that league too. So, yeah, you absolutely want to take your time with these things because you want healthy players in the long run. You want healthy players. This is Blazers Game Day. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also go to your phone and just text 88528. Jump in on the text line, and you also have the YouTube chat. Go chat there if you'd like. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at this Sacramento Kings team. What can the Blazers expect with a team that, quite frankly, just 2 seasons ago looked like they were on the up, and things were finally changing in Sacramento, and then the wheels have kind of fallen back off again. We'll talk about when we return here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness that will push past.
That's the skinny of it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to hit you with our keys to the game right here in our home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness.
What's up, YouTube?
That will push
I'm
past
going to talk to
physical
YouTube for a minute because I'm an
and
idiot
mental
and did
breaking points.
unmute for a minute. The perils of
You
producing
are
and
fitted for
talking
the
at the
event.
same time.
Only one
What was
of
that?
you.
Yeah, what's up, YouTube? There's no one chatting there. It's okay. Yeah. So. That's funny. We're just live here during this commercial break, having some fun. Chit-chatting. Oh, no, Sean. No. Oh. Well, I'm glad you tried. I'm glad you tried to stop by. You just gotta hit me up on social. You know what to do. You know the name. Hit me up on Twitter or Blue Sky or Instagram or whatever you're using. Chris J. Burkhardt. Then you could be like, hey, are you at Media Row? And I'll be like, yeah, come find me. Come find me. And then just don't be upset when I like stare you in the eye and I don't realize it's you, because I'm so terrible with face recognition because all I see is your names in the chat or on the phone. Yeah, you did. I like calling in. Calling in was great. I like having those conversations. It was a good night after a good win. So yeah, I appreciate the call. Keep doing that. Keep chatting. But yeah, don't be afraid to come find me during the game. Doesn't have to be just at the end. I've been known to get out of Media Row and go. There we go. Sorry, my headphones are way too loud. I've been known to get out of Media Row during the game and go sit with some fans now and then. So you just gotta hit me up. Timmy, who's in the chat all the time. I mean, yeah, I'll go sit with him, watch a game. I have buddies who from college or high school who hit me up. My old podcast partner. So if there's an empty seat, I'll come and say hi. But I appreciate you as always, Sean. It's awesome that you're tuning in and calling in and enjoying the show, man. I appreciate that. Because according to the text line, not everyone appreciates me. It's just one guy. But, still like to be appreciated. Hopefully they can reproduce what they did in that game against Golden State. Win this one. NBA Locker Vision. Let's see what. I'm going to look some stuff up here. So much information. There we go. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you, getting you ready for Blazers versus Kings. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You also hit us up on the text line at 88528. And, of course, YouTube.com. Just type in Rip City Radio, where Sean says sharp for 45 tonight. I wouldn't be opposed. I would not be opposed. It would be pretty nice to see. As long as he does it as efficiently as he did in that Golden State game. What I loved about that game was he was getting to his shots, and he was taking smart shots as well. And getting into that mid-range was very, very big for him. He likes to get into that spot I know people have dogged on him for his three-point game, want that to get better. He had a decent night in this one, going 5 for 7, so that's a good sign. But 12 of 18 overall from the floor, a lot of those mid-range shots. So 35 points, but efficient 35 points. Super, super nice to see from Shaden Sharp. Hopefully he can build on that. Before we get to our straight keys to the game as well, I want to point out that friend of the show, Timmy Hammock, texted me, and he's like, what's the locker vision say? What are the Blazers wearing tonight? Well, Timmy, they are wearing their all whites tonight against the City Edition all purples with Sacramento across the chest for the Kings. I gotta sit down with Travis and get like how he does it, like a Kings wearing purple tops with purple bottoms, diamond-shaped design on the side in white and off purple, Sacramento across the chest. He's very good at the way he describes those uniforms. But there's your lowdown on what the teams will be wearing tonight, if you're paying attention to that sort of thing. Blazers against Detroit. Their home game against Detroit. They wear all blacks, all reds against Orlando. Locker Vision's a cool little website, actually, if you guys have never gone there before, because it'll tell you what uniforms are being worn, all the uniform combos for the night. It's pretty cool. All right, now, time for our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to get the victory over the Sacramento Kings today? And we've kind of laid out a little bit of it for you in this one. Play the similar type game that you did against Golden State. You're fast, you're efficient, defensively you're locked in. But that's kind of the key to anything. As long as you're locked in, play your game, you have a chance. But keep in mind, you're playing a Sacramento Kings team tonight that is just not very efficient, even when they're healthy. They come into this game averaging just 110.8 points per game. That is the third lowest scoring offense in the entire league. That is the lowest scoring offense in the Western Conference. The only two worst being the Brooklyn Nets and the Indiana Pacers. As for your Portland Trailblazers, they come in, they're a top 12 team in the league at 118.2. So take advantage of the fact that you're playing a team that isn't very efficient offensively. Not only are they not a great scoring team, it's not as if they shoot the ball lights out either. They're shooting 46.5% from the field, which is middle of the road here in the NBA. So take advantage of that, especially when you're a Blazers team that does not shoot the ball incredibly well. The Blazers are 44.4% on the year, which is the worst or second worst percentage in the NBA, the worst field goal percentage in the Western Conference. Okay? Something's got to give there. Look at that Golden State game, though. They shot the ball incredibly well, so you know it's in there. This is where the fact that the Blazers try to push tempo and get a lot of shots up in a game can absolutely play into their favor, because the Blazers do push that tempo, and they get 91.8 shots up per game, which is third most in the NBA. Sacramento, on the other hand, they get 89, which puts them at about 16th in the league. So when you get a Sacramento King team that shoots the ball kind of middle of the road, does not score a lot of points, how do the Blazers beat them? Like I said, you're not going to outshoot every single team every single night. Not every game is going to be like you played against Golden State, but you are going to have opportunities to get to the rim and get shots up if you play your game that allows you to beat teams at field goal attempts, which is what the Blazers have done all year long. So they want to win that ball game. Win the field goal attempt ball game, because if you take more, odds are you end up making more. And the Blazers, too, they're not a great three-point shooting team. They only shoot 33.5% on the season, your Portland Trailblazers, but they are number 4 in attempts. The Kings, they are 29th in attempts. They don't take a lot of threes. So they don't take a lot of threes. That means they like to get into the paint. They don't have Domantas Sabonis, which is their best option in the paint. When it comes to taking threes, they don't even have Zach LaVine, so a team that doesn't take a lot of threes might take even fewer threes. So that's going to be very, very crucial for Donovan Clingan and Robert Williams defensively to have big games down low. You look again, we talked about what happened in Minnesota. Yes, Precious Achiuwa was able to get off, but they, being the Sacramento, they don't have anyone who can get down low and just absolutely score on you and give you fits. So you need to get down there, give them fits defensively, and with no Domantas Sabonis and not a ton of big guys to speak of, heck, no Drew Eubanks, you're going to have to rely on your rebounders as well. That's where Donovan Clingan can shine. You look at that game against Minnesota, Rudy Gobert had 5 offensive rebounds. 5 offensive rebounds, 12 rebounds total, which is great. 5 on the offensive glass. Julius Randle had 10 rebounds, 4 on the offensive glass. In total, the Minnesota Timberwolves had 15 offensive rebounds to just 4 offensive rebounds for the Sacramento Kings. So outside of getting more shots, which has been a strength of yours all season long, be aggressive on the glass, because this is going to end up being the type of game that you can absolutely dominate when it comes to cleaning. Clean that glass, put yourself in great positions to win ball games. I think you're going to be in a good spot if you do those little things. If you do those little things, you'll be in a really good spot. And then you just got to repeat it twice, because you got to play this team twice over the next handful of days in 2 games that are absolutely crucial. Absolutely crucial. How you approach these 2 games, I think, is going to be really important to how you end up playing over that 5-game stretch. That's a home stretch that you have not had in a long time. You're going to have more games at home in the next week or so, this 5-game stretch. You're going to have more games at home than you had almost the entire month of November. That's big time to have an actual home stretch. Most games they played 2 games at home. And then they went back on the road. Came back, played 2 games at home, went back on the road. So having 5 games at home, it's going to be important for Portland to take advantage of those. Especially when, again, you consider the fact that, yes, they still have hard games on this schedule, but this schedule gets incredibly easier. That 5-game stand, they get Detroit, who we all know how good Detroit is. Detroit has also had an absolutely easy schedule. They've played the Brooklyns and the Indianas, the Washingtons. They've had an easy schedule, but you know what? They took advantage of it, and they won the games they were supposed to. That's why they're 21-5, which second-best record in the entire NBA. But Portland played them well in Detroit. Can you take advantage and play them well again and maybe sneak a win? We will see. It's going to be tough. But then you got Orlando, which is a team they can absolutely beat as long as they don't let Desmond Bane take the last shot, even on a night when he was pretty bad from 3, but they gave him the last one and he hit it. Then they got the Clippers, who are terrible right now, who they already got a win over. They got Boston, who Boston is who we thought they were. Just don't let them off the hook. The fact that they're 4th in the Eastern Conference right now with no Jason Tatum, still trying to get Anthony Simons acclimated and find out how to best use his. Jaylen Brown's been wonderful. But they're 15-11. It's going to be a tough game. But then outside of that, what do you got? Oh, you got Dallas, who, yes, they challenged you when you went to Dallas a few weeks ago, but that's a team that's beatable. So you got to take advantage. And, again, it all starts with these few games here. Can you take advantage of these 2 games against an inferior Sacramento King team, or do you roll over and do the awful thing that we've seen a few times against teams that you shouldn't lose to? That game against the Lakers earlier in the season, no LeBron, no Austin Reeves, no Luka Doncic, easy dubs. No, team didn't show up. Can't do that tonight. Can't do that on Saturday. Show up, show out. You'll get wins. The best thing you can do is keep Sacramento dimly lit on Saturday, because there's no beam shooting out of the middle of Golden One Center, which is a beautiful arena, by the way. Blazing internet, which is what us media folks love. But that's, again, I think that's what you need to do to win the game. And then, again, I think that's how critical these 2 games are, because these 2 games, as weird as it sounds, feel like they can make you or break you for this stretch of home games. You lose these 2 games, man, you are not in a good spot heading into that 5-game stretch. You win them, you feel good about yourself, and you're playing good ball, and you have the friendly confines of Moda Center, changes a lot. Absolutely changes a lot. So what team do we get tonight? We will see. We will see. For those of you coming to the game tonight, reminder that it is one of the Trailblazer celebration nights. So we've seen a few. You've had Hispanic Heritage Night, Native American Heritage Night. You know me, big fan of AAPI Night. Celebrating my Asian and island heritage. Tonight is the Pride celebration, so plenty of stuff going on. Special national anthem singers, halftime performances, bunch of different things you could do in the concourse. They got that awesome 360 photo booth in the concourse. Pride Northwest will be out here Utopia PDX, and plenty of other stuff. So make sure when you get in here tonight, you'll find one of these little brochures. When you get in here, it has everything you need to know about what's going on for the game tonight. If you're so inclined to enjoy the celebration tonight and Pride Night here at Moda, and I love these. I love these celebration nights. You never know what it's going to be, but it impacts people. It's great. Like I said, I love the AAPI night because anytime you get to show that pride of being an Islander, I'm gonna flex on that one. Also, I think it was AAPI night last night that friend of the show Timmy Hammock pointed out that they sell a killer spam musubi down on the main concourse that I didn't even know about, because usually the show just ends and I just go straight to Media Row. But now I make it a routine sometimes. It's about every other home game. Go down there and get some spam musubi, because boy howdy, does it hit every single time. It's the stuff. If you haven't got it, you gotta get down there. All right, Blazers versus Kings tonight. A little disappointed that they don't get DeMontis Sabonis out there. I know fans always love when they get to see baby Sabas in town, but maybe you get to see Daddy Sabas, because it's a reminder to everyone that the Blazers did announce that the game against Detroit, the first game of that homestand, they're celebrating the Western Conference Finals team from 99-2000. Chad had a great interview with Mike Dunleavy today, so you can go back into the podcast and listen to that. That's going to be a fun night at Moda for sure. Just like it's going to be a fun night tonight against the Kings. Music's on, so don't go anywhere, because that means coming up next across the Trailblazers Audio Network, Chad Doing will have your Trailblazers pregame show, and then, of course, Travis Demers will take over, tip-off at 7 o'clock against the Kings. When it's all said and done, it's the fifth quarter, where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. We'll talk to you after the game.